Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation coach under the sun. Reason why is because there's no such coaching like my coaching anywhere on the internet. I coach mainly in audios and phone sessions. All the information for me is below. Most coaches on the internet coach usually with Zoom sessions, as well as text messages and emails. I have a more personalized approach towards this. I really want to hold your hands throughout this experience. I usually recommend you spend 2 to 3 months at least in coaching for the full coverage of everything that I need to go through with you. I start with covering your childhood into adolescence, college years, all the way up until now. Reason why I do this thorough work is because I really want to get to know you, get to know your blueprint, which is the belief system that you walk around with, that you've inherited from your parents, your guardians, your siblings, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, whoever, and that you need to change in order to start manifesting things more deliberately, more on purpose, with more precision. The two most popular packages on my website, the link is below, is the audio exchange unlimited or the phone session package deluxe. Now, the process is more or less the same. The only difference is obvious. I think that we exchange audios versus we communicate by phone, obviously. And 2 to 3 times per week, and it's you get me live. That's the difference. You get to ask me questions. It depends on your personality and on your schedule. And so if you are the kind of person who likes to be on the phone, I would definitely advise you to get the phone package. You get a lot more done, I think, in this way. But in the beginning, I do prefer that we just get on the phone, whichever package you book, and we discuss what it is that you'd like to accomplish in coaching. All right, so that session lasts an hour. I record that session with your permission, of course, and consequently, if you choose the phone session package, I will record every single session. I will share the audio file with you, of course, and then I go through that hour just for my notes. I take a lot of notes for each client. Everybody gets their own notepad in my coaching. The reason why I do it this thoroughly is because, again, I need to map out your history, your belief system. And that really helps me to understand how to help you properly. Upon booking my coaching, you need to sign the coaching agreement, which basically states I am not a psychiatrist. I'm a coach. You don't get to question my methods. You don't need to rebuttal me. You will achieve a lot if you just follow along on this journey with me, with my suggestions, and be open to those. That, in a nutshell, is what the agreement states. The coaching fee is non-refundable. And I just ask you that you come prepared and ready to work. In the case of audio exchange, you need to send me an audio that's 20-minute max. I will respond with my own audio after I'm done analyzing yours. Usually takes me like a day or two. So in this capacity, either the phone sessions or the audio exchange, we talk 2 to 3 times per week. All right. If you have any questions before booking, you do need to pre-book and reach out to me and schedule the phone session that I just described. That's how we always start. It's included in each coaching. The audio exchange also includes 5 phone sessions in that month. Now, sometimes, depending on the client, eventually I just switch them to communicating by phone, but that requires me first getting to know you and, like I said, covering a lot of ground in the beginning. So if you have any questions, please either comment or email me directly. The email is below. Just to be clear, okay, I think I just misspoke. In the beginning, whether or not you purchase audio exchange or phone sessions style coaching, that's how we start. And eventually, at some point, after I've covered enough ground with you, you can just be on the phone with me, but that's separate from coaching. You can just purchase phone sessions. Okay, just to be clear, before somebody, gets the wrong idea. But whether or not you're a phone person or an audio exchange person, that's it, that's what I meant. Okay. If there's any confusion, please ask me. Okay. All right. The subject of today is thought transmission re-explained. So I have this audio on my channel. It's thought transmission is your superpower. And I'm realizing now that I need to revisit this subject because there have been a lot of questions in the emails and also in my coaching from my clients. Thought transmission is the easiest way to solve any problem, to bring back your SP, whatever else you want to create in your life. And so mastering this skill becomes essential. And it isn't that difficult. You just really need to be on purpose about it and create this knowing that whatever you're thinking, the other person is thinking too. If you're thinking something about somebody, this is why, when people talk about SPs and this and that, it's sometimes kind of funny to me because it's kind of like obvious to me, but this is why I'm the coach, that the reason you're not bringing back your SP is because of what you're thinking, okay? So there are no secrets in the universe. You're always sending out a message to the universe, i.e. you, it's a mirror. And so if let's just, make it very simple. If you feel like shit, if you feel like shit and you're in a shitty mood and you don't kind of like have the ideas together, meaning you're not decisive, you don't really know what you're manifesting, you can't decide what to manifest, you don't know if you want this person, you don't want this person, one day you're this and the other day you're that. Meaning like one day you really adore them, the next minute you're kind of like not really adoring them at all. You're not consistent. All of this gets transmitted, which is why decisions are really necessary. What you're going to put on your world. All right. So transmitting the thought is easy versus trying to run around, trying to make something happen in the 3D. You don't need to do anything in the 3D. All right. I often say this on my channel. If you never got out of the fucking bed, all right, if you never went to work again, meaning like traditional 9 to 5 or whatever it is, if you never did things the way they used to do in the 3D, you would still be able to accomplish a lot of things with your mind. And so bringing back an SP or manifesting a pile of fucking truckload of money or whatever the fuck else you want is easy if you have your thoughts in order. Okay? So thought transmission though, okay, this is what I really want to kind of like re-explain. It's not about changing somebody. That's really hard to do. When people say people don't change and this and that, in a sense, it's true. And how so? That version of SP who was an asshole to you or who behaved in a way that you don't prefer will always remain this person, this way. I have another video, excuse me, the link will be below. What is your SP thinking and feeling when you're manifesting them? It's so easy. It's what you're thinking. That's it. There's nothing else going on. This is your game. This is your situation. This is what you're creating day in and day out. And so if you ever wondering like, what is anybody thinking about me? What are you thinking about them? The end. End of story. Okay. So if you want to change any situation, you just have to decide what parallel reality you would like to transfer yourself towards. So going back to not being able to change people, it's not that you're changing people. It's that you're corresponding with your thoughts and vibration towards the version of a person that you really would like to manifest. Now, this is where a lot of people get stuck, because I understand you're human, and this and that. And so sometimes it's very hard. Somebody pisses you off, you get angry. Maybe for a long time, I don't know. You get disappointed, you get this, that, and the other. But as long as you keep that story alive and that version alive in your universe, in your reality, you're not manifesting the version that you want. And so, in fact, thought transmission is a lot more powerful than you realize, because it's not that you're changing this person with your thoughts. It's that you're corresponding to that version of person that already exists on that frequency, with those thoughts in mind that you have about them. So being delusional in the best sense of the word or the meaning is actually not so delusional, because at any given point in time, there's always a parallel reality where what you want already exists. And so that version of this person already exists, always will exist forevermore. Okay, parallel realities are like different, I already gave this example, this metaphor, different kind of rooms in the house. In one room, you have a party going on. In the other room, it's like depression galore, right? So all you have to do is go into the next room and observe what's happening there. And in that room, you're happy, you're smiling, you're with your SP, you have everything. And with that parallel reality, in that consciousness, in that state, you don't even know how you were any other way. But if you fall into this sadness and start observing it more and reacting to it and being more like in concert with that state, then that's what all you know, and you don't know anything else. And so it serves you to really understand that one thing has nothing to do with the other. It's not, thought transmission is not changing the situation. Thought transmission is getting on the right frequency, a right channel, if you will, like when you switch channels on TV, which I haven't watched TV in like 15 years now. But it's a good metaphor, was like, on this frequency, you are going to be like this forever. It's stationary. On the other frequency, you're going to be depressed forever. Okay, on this frequency where you thought transmit to your parallel version of self and of parallel version of SP, you're blissfully happy, you're married, you're engaged, you're dancing around, whatever. On the other frequency, you're constantly in some kind of trying to figure it out mode. Okay, so it's just like that. That's what thought transmission is. Thought transmission is, in fact, getting on the frequency where everything you want exists. Now, you can catch the airwaves from, let's just say, you're not feeling so happy today and you're missing your SP and this and that. All right, well, the gift of parallel realities allows you to think and feel differently, even though something else is going on right now. That's where the delusion comes in, right? So you thought transmit yourself into the parallel reality where you're married to this person, even though you don't observe it right now. In order to get yourself over there, you need to start thinking differently here. Thought transmit different things so that your frequency goes up and you experience a different reality. It's just like things are morphing around you because of your decisions. That your decision has become that I'm fucking tired of this shit. I want something else. And so in order for me to experience something else, I'm going to raise my vibration for no apparent reason other than I just want to experience something different. Okay, for no other reason other than that. And so you thought transmit yourself, you catapult yourself into this reality where What you're feeling now makes sense. You have no reason to feel happy right now. You don't have your SP. You don't have this, that, any other, la, la, la. But suddenly you change your mind about how you want to feel. And you feel as if you already had it. Feel on purpose. This is what Neville discussed. Feeling is the secret. Feeling is just thought transmitting yourself into the parallel reality where what you want already is. Has always been there, like I said. And so it's not that you're changing anything. You're already living that story out. And the only thing that you need to do is go with that feeling, go with that frequency so that you can experience, like imagine right now your SP suddenly gets it in their mind that they want to marry you, that they want to come back, that they want to do whatever you want them to do. What does that feel like for you? Does it feel like you don't have them? Does it feel like you want to watch 500 million YouTube videos all over again? That would be a fucking waste of time, right? So this is what I'm saying. On that frequency where you're already with your SP, you don't need to watch 500 YouTube videos, okay? But you also really need to rediscover who you really are. You need to thought transmit yourself to that parallel reality where it's easy. In order to do that, though, you really need to change the way that what you believe right now. What it is that you believe right now. Can you do that? Is it easy for you to imagine that? Do you think that this is all it takes? Or do you think that this is arduous? And do you think that this is difficult for some reason because you've experienced something different in the past? Because if you've experienced something different in the past, you are automatically going to be programmed to believe something else. And so when you change your beliefs, when you change what it is you're thinking about, change what it is that you are expecting, okay? Because one person can be like, well, yeah, it's easy. I can just decide, sit down right here, decide, write it down, and that's what I'm going to experience whenever I want. And another person could be like, no, that's really hard. I've never experienced it. Right? So it's all, yes, beliefs are formed through experience, like I said. But if you want to start believing something different, you need to work on what it is that you're programmed to believe. And that doesn't just happen overnight. You need to work at it, which is why I'm offering coaching, like I always say. But the thought transmission happens. It can happen instantaneously. You can transmit the thoughts to the person and say, I don't care what has happened before. I don't care what has happened between us and what kind of situations we were involved in. Right now, right here, you're going to be thinking this. But it happens automatically. If you entitle yourself to creating this magic in your world and to affect people this way, it's not in the 3D, it seems like somebody has changed. But actually, all you're doing is you're tuning into the parallel version of that person and parallel version of those events. And so it's really important, what kinds of ideas do you produce daily? What kinds of thought transmissions do you deliver to people around you, to the ones that you love, to anything to do in your business and work and this and that? My favorite situation is goes like this. Okay, this is what I have. This is what I have. This is what I'm observing right now. Well, fuck all this. I'm going to create whatever the fuck I want next. Because not taking the cue from the 3D is essential to major change. That's how you create magic. So you thought transmit something completely different if it's not what you prefer. So again, if you don't have your SP today and you thought transmit that all of a sudden they get it in their mind, I'm going to reach out to them and meaning to you and create a whole different other situation, different story, however it has to make sense in your mind. And some people are too busy worrying about how much time has passed and who else is involved and this and that and third parties and all this fucking bullshit, where all you need to really worry about is what it is you want. On any given day, if you're having the shittiest day, all you need to ask yourself, what would make me happy right now? Okay, so I would really derive pleasure if things change between me and my SP. All right, so then you can do it. So do it. Create that, manifest that situation. What would make you happy? Getting a text, getting a smoke signal, getting an email, getting roses, whatever, flowers from them, suddenly them realizing that you're the only one and no one else. Then create that. Don't transmit yourself into that reality rather than residing in something you don't prefer. It's all up to you anyway. You're kind of like a little bit of a time traveler through different parallel realities. Not a little bit, it's exactly what it is. Except there's no time. It's just like you parallel reality traveler. And so the only thing that you need to organize is your decisions, where you want to go next. If you change your mind in the middle of it all and you start deciding, all right, this is what I want, and I'm going to stay on purpose about it, I will deliberately create the situation in my mind and thus around me. I don't care what happened before. Things can morph like so perfectly and completely in your favor without you seemingly having to deserve it. Okay, when people say I don't deserve it or I deserve this, I worked for it, there's nothing to deserve. You just create it. You just experience. You're swimming through the ocean of your creation. And so if it's your desire to experience something different next, you don't have to deserve it. You just have to adjust your frequency. That's all you're really doing all day long. If you really strongly believe that you can achieve that, there's no stopping you. Strong beliefs, they move worlds. Strong belief moves worlds. Believe in what? Believe in your power to create anything you want. This is why beliefs are the most powerful shit on earth. You can start with absolutely nothing today and no contact and this and that and the other and create something revolutionary overnight. Overnight, things can start shifting. Really. If you really shifted in your mind. Now, this does not mean that it's going to take you one day to work on your beliefs. That's not what I mean, okay? What I mean is once the shift has happened, it takes a very short period of time. And usually, again, belief work is the most important work because deep down, you must be believing something that is against you. If you're manifesting something that's not your preference, it must be something that you believe that's working against you. You're working against yourself. But if you make the shift overnight, things can start shifting in the most incredible way. So if you're not addressing something, that is why your reality is not shifting. That's it. There's no difference between, in the universe's eyes, in the creation's eyes, there's no difference between SP or no SP. There's no difference between you having something and not having something. Now, I know this doesn't make sense maybe for some of you, but it's just creation is impartial. So the only one who's stopping you from having your SP is you. And that's the whole shebang. This is what you have to ask yourself. Unless you get coaching with me, which we can explore that, you have to ask yourself, what is it I'm deciding that I'm working against myself right now? And of course, all experiences are valid and they're all meaningful in the sense that you learn a lot. Because without an experience, well, there's no learning, there's no lesson. So nothing really goes wrong, so to speak. You're just learning and you are contemplating. But as long as you're learning, if you're not learning anything due to what has happened thus far to you, then, you need to start. But don't just take it for granted. Like, this is not just, it's not because you did something wrong. It's because you're doing something with your mind that is creating the situation. Getting to know yourself and what it is you're doing in your mind is it's the most fascinating, the most powerful trick on earth. And if you can thought transmit your way out of any situation, you would do it, right? So I think that's the most powerful work that you'll ever do, because then everything becomes easy. And you won't have to work at it like a horse, okay? It will just flow naturally. As long as you know how to thought transmit yourself into the parallel reality of your choosing. Thank you very much for listening. All the information from me is below. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.